Former President Donald Trump taking the New Hampshire primary. Giving a speech last night, being as sassy as the former president has gotten recently, but obviously he's on his way to get the Republican nomination, a Republican presidential candidate that faces what? I don't even know what the corporate media's talking point is. What is it, 90 criminal charges in 4 different cases or something, dealing with, the election interference or dealing with the classified documents or whatever the case may be. But obviously, former President Donald Trump on a wave. And after trouncing all the other candidates in the Iowa caucus, yesterday he beat Nikki Haley after you had Vivek Ramaswamy and Ron DeSantis drop out last week. But here's just a sampling of the former president's victory speech here with Bishop on Air. Thanks for taking time with us each and every weekday morning as we broadcast live and clip out these segments so you can enjoy them throughout the week and stay informed. But here is the former president as broadcast by Fox News with his victory speech last night. He talks about the migration crisis. He talks about the ongoing politics, what's polling, and also he brings up several people to talk, including Vivek Ramaswamy.
We had one hell of a night tonight. One other thing before Vivek comes. Do you see that poll? We're going to put it up. We have beaten Biden. You could almost say, who can't? Who the hell can't? The man can't put 2 sentences together. He can't find the stairs off a stage. Who can't? But Vivek, 1 minute or less. Go do it, Vivek.
What we saw tonight is America first defeating America last. That's what we saw tonight.
This has people speculating that Vivek Ramaswamy could very well be a vice presidential pick. We'll see if that pans out. But you also see Tim Scott on the stage, who also was brought on to say a few words.
If you want America last, you can go to Joe Biden. You got another candidate still apparently in the Republican primary. Cut your Social Security to fork over more money to Ukraine so some kleptocrat can buy a bigger house. Go to Nikki Haley. But you know who delivered a double-digit victory tonight? It is a double-digit victory as of right now. Is this man, Donald J. Trump, the leader of America first? And that means something.
So Ramaswamy goes on to lay out a few other things about what separates Trump from others. But then you have Trump bring up Tom Homan, who was the former Border Patrol secretary, I believe, when he was in the administration. And Trump seeming to kind of highlight some of his possible picks to lead the office. So here's Tom Homan from last night, talking about the border crisis.
Look, I worked for 6 presidents down around Reagan, and every president I ever worked for did something to secure the border. But no one did more than President Trump. The most secure border in my lifetime. The most secure border we've ever seen. And Donald Trump's going to do it again. We're going to lock the border down, and we're going to protect Americans. Because what's happening at the border right now, a record number of Americans have died from fentanyl poisoning. A record number of migrants have died. A record number of women and children have been sex trafficked. A record number of known suspected terrorists across the border. There's one man who's proven he can secure the border, and he's standing to my left, Donald J. Trump, and he's going to do it again.
So, again, you have the president, former President Trump, giving a victory speech. He also brought on Tim Scott to talk a bit. While you had current President Joe Biden campaigning recently, and he was heralding Democrats' stance on abortion, but you're seeing some interesting divisions in the Democrat Party of those who are concerned about what's going on between Israel and Hamas and Israel's attack inside Gaza, where you've got some in the Democrat Party demanding there be a ceasefire, and it's really seeming to show its ugly head. The division there among the Democrats. And he held a rally recently, the president did, and he was interrupted several times by the chanters saying, they want a ceasefire. All right, so let's get back to the primary last night, though. You have the outcome, which is being correlated by or collected by Google, and you could see the outcome here with about 92% reporting, 164,000 votes for Trump, 129,000 votes for Haley, 54 to 43. But what's interesting is you compare that to the number of votes in the Democrat Party yesterday for their primary. Joe Biden was a write-in, by the way. I'm not sure the background on that. That's interesting. But Joe Biden got 54,000 votes in the primary. I did look at the 2020 primary, and just the total of votes there were between the Republican and the Democrat primary voters came out in 2020 in New Hampshire, and it was like 120,000 for Bernie Sanders or something to that effect, and a few 100 and some odd thousand, or it was much higher totals than what were here yesterday from the 2024 New Hampshire primary. And what I'm getting at here is there's speculation that there were tons of crossover voters going from Democrat to Republican in New Hampshire so they could vote for Nikki Haley to be the nominee. And this is evidenced by a clip that was on CNN last night. Check this out.
And why did you vote for Nikki Haley?
It's a vote against Trump. I think it would be better to have her against Biden in the elections than it would be Trump and her.
Do you consider yourself generally independent, Republican, or Democrat?
Democrat.
So when you undeclared, you voted for Nikki Haley. If it was Nikki Haley against Joe Biden in a general election, who are you voting for?
Joe Biden.
What is the
Nikki Haley.
And why did you vote for Nikki Haley?
There you go. CNN kind of putting out there a voter who might just answer as to why there were not as many Democrat voters in yesterday's New Hampshire primary this year that there were back in 2020. So we'll see if that continues to be reported on throughout. But obviously, the issue of migration is top of mind. You've got Trump again, who brought out Tom Homan last night to talk about the border crisis. Trump is really differentiating himself from others. But the border crisis clearly impacting us here in Illinois. And here's a video that's going around as well. It's gone viral. Naperville Councilman Josh McBroom. He wants to get residents to allow for undocumented migrants to stay in their homes. Here's what he had to say.
I do know that there's a lot of people that do care. And I think we live in a compassionate community. So, before we go down the road of, doing what, following suit on some of these other cities are taking action on. My idea would be let's find out. Let's find out who's willing to help. We do hear from constituents on both sides of this. What are we going to do to preemptively stop this? And then we hear from people that tell us we should do more. So, we do have a very affluent community, a lot of big homes, and what I'd like to do is direct staff to create a sign-up sheet. So, for individuals that would be willing to house migrant families. And if there's people that would do that, God bless them. So if we could raise awareness in that way, I think we need to find out. I think we need to find out who would be willing to house migrant families. And so that would be my new business. I'd be looking for support from the dais.
So again, interesting to see how indeed the migrant crisis is impacting Illinois, with leaders in Naperville suggesting that people open up their homes for non-citizen migrants coming to the country. This isn't here in Illinois. This isn't down in Texas or in Arizona. This is Illinois. So you can see why the issue of the migration crisis is polling as a top issue for voters all the way in Illinois, all the way to New Hampshire, and across the country, far from the southern U.S. border. So clearly that's going to be a major issue heading into the November 2024 election. We'll be taking a look at some of those things throughout, but obviously, we focus a lot on Illinois. Illinois has a primary coming up March 19th at the end of this month. So in about 6 or 7 days, the Illinois State Board of Elections is set to certify the Illinois ballot, where you have objections against former President Donald Trump getting on the Republican ballot, and you have objections of current incumbent Democrat President Joe Biden getting on the Illinois Democrat primary ballot. So they're going to, take all the arguments back and forth, and they'll make a decision here by the end of the month here in Illinois as to what the primary ballot's going to look like. So that'll be fascinating. We'll track that. All right, guys, have yourselves a wonderful rest of the day. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and check us out each and every weekday morning. Again, I'm only about 30 some odd people away from hitting 15,000 subscribers. So if you hit subscribe, greatly appreciate it.